I'm dancing to the music in my head. I'm just kidding. Good morning and welcome to the Real Prosperity Project. My name is Tanisha Teering and this is
It's Charlene Reedman, still up in the frozen north. Woohoo!
Woo! Yeah, we're excited. Here at the Real Prosperity Project, we are here to talk about real life scenarios, real things that happen, both negative and positive, but how you can find the prosperity in that and change your mindset for growth. And then that way we can foster an abundance mindset and we can help others in their day to day do the same. And that's what we're here to chat with about, chat to you about today.
Yeah, girl. As, and especially in everything that's going on and all the blah, blah out there, we definitely need some positively positive. See, I can't even speak either.
It's because we're too excited. Because yeah, guess what? Even with all the shit going on and the whole shitstorm that people can fall into and blah 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 blah, we almost did. We still get to find amazing, great things, and we have some really great things to talk about today that maybe get you excited and maybe help you get out of that negative mindset.
Yeah. And oh, just a side note, one way to get out of a negative mindset is sing a song.
The music in my head. I told you I was
See?
dancing.
Yeah. Because we can only think of one thought at a time. Just FYI. So if you find yourself going down that negativity hole, hum, sing, put music on, anything. Even like at nighttime, if you have a hard time going to sleep, put on something like in the background, just to get your mind off of whatever it is that's keeping you up and keeping you down, girl, boys.
Exactly. And the song, for everybody that's wondering what is playing in my head, it's Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right.
I'd sing, but then the internet would cut off.
Ah, that's awesome.
Cool. So what have we got going on today, Tanisha?
Well, I thought we've been doing this podcast for a while, and we talk a lot about how we help serve Canadians in the financial area. And I thought, why not share some successes and some wins that we've had for our clients over the last little while?
Yeah.
Because that's something that is breeding hope and prosperity into their lives. So instead of what we're finding prosperous, let's share a little bit about what we are helping others to feel empowered and feel that prosper too.
Yeah.
Prosperity. Oh my gosh. I can talk, I promise.
No, that sounds amazing.
Mm,
I love it.
awesome. So, do you have any examples, Charlene? I'll let you start out.
Yeah. So we do many things in the financial industry because we have access to many different companies, amazing companies that we get to work with. But alongside with that, we as advisors are taught a lot about how money works, and we get to bring that to our clients. So just here's just a little something really quick for you. It's called the Rule of 72. So what that means is it helps us understand compound interest very simply. I wish I'd known this when I was in high school because I sucked at that stuff, right? It's horrid. But if you want to know how long it's going to take for your money to actually start working for you, take the rate of return you're earning on your money today and you divide that into 72. So Albert Einstein, he created this simple equation. So let's say you're at the bank. Oh, I shouldn't say names, banks. Okay, let's say you're in a savings account somewhere and you're getting high interest of 2%. So you take that 2 into 72. So that means in 36 years, if you had deposited $10,000 into there, in 36 years, I hope I did my math right, your money's going to double. So now in 36 years, you have $20,000. Now, who's
Yep, you
excited,
did your math right.
right? Woo-hoo. right? But now, let's say you work with a professional that has access to amazing companies that have, that they're working hard, because you got to understand too, like when a company does well for their clients, they're doing well for their company, which means we as advisors are going to be doing well as well. A lot of wells in there. So I got to get my calculator out for this. So let's just, for an example, say, what if you worked with a professional advisor and they got you on average a 12% rate of return? What would that look like? So that means every 6 years, that $10,000 is going to double.
I like that way better.
Way better. Way better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really important because we as a whole, as a society, we, for the majority, except maybe for the top 1 to 5 percenters, we don't spend a lot of time on educating ourselves about how to become wealthy, how to, make our money. Because at the end of the day, we are working for money. We're putting our time in for money. So we work hard for that. So don't you agree that our money should be working for us?
It should. 100%.
Yeah. So on that note, I got a message from my younger clients yesterday. So I have clients of all ages. My youngest client's a newborn, and that's, a whole other story on how we can help newborns. All the way, my oldest client is 90. 90. So I have a younger client in her early 20s that has a tax-free savings account with me. So she messaged me yesterday and she's starting a new job at a new company, and they're offering her to take some money off of her paycheck and put it into a savings program for her. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Are they going to match that? Because I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have heard that, if you put in 3%, the company will put in 3%, right? Which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So you're actually kind of getting a little bit of free money. And then she said, no, they're not matching it, but they're going to put it into a savings account. She said, I think it's to help their employees learn how to save, which is great. Guess what the interest rate is that they told her? Guess.
Like 5%.
No.
No. Oh, 2?
No.
Really? 1?
1%. 1%. Okay, so let's do the math. Let's go back to our rule of 72. So if you take 72 divided by 1 is 72. So 72 years for that money to double. So
That's insane.
Yeah, so she said, so would it be, do you think I should do that, or should I take what they were going to take off my check and just start adding it to my tax-free savings that I have with you? I said, yeah, and I pulled it up. And since she started with me, I didn't look at the exact dates, but I believe it's been 2 years. Since initial start with me, she's doing 20%.
Wow.
Okay, so let's do that. What's 72 divided by 20? So every 3.6 years, her money's going to double. Now, is it always going to be at 20%? I don't know. It could be higher and it might be a little bit lower.
Mm-hmm.
But can you imagine early 20s and working with somebody that can help you understand that?
You know what? This comes right back to what I was teaching the kids at the high school. Okay? When you start young and you have doubling periods and you have time to invest in things, right? And you have that time, small contributions make a huge difference. When you're older and you don't have as much time for exposure to investments, you have to invest more.
Exactly.
Right? So here's that example of that win. You're sharing this with a young person who has the ability to make such a huge difference. I mean, we went into the school and I said straight up, I said, if you invest $100 a month from time you're 19 to age 65, it's 55,000 or 57,000, okay, roughly. I can't remember the exact math, but I did have it up proper on the slide. But at a 9% rate of return, which is historically an average over a 10-year period of time. So you have that many years at a 9% rate of return, that $100 a month, which is $57,000, is actually going to be $1.2 million in your TFSA.
So I just was putting it into my calculator on the computer here. So let's go back to that $10,000 initial deposit. And let's say we're age 25. So you have 30, 40, we have 40 years before we're 65. So I'm like, okay, we're not going to add anything to it. And I did put in 20%. Okay. Again, could be more, could be less because everything goes up and down. But let's just pretend we're in a world of 20%. That comes out to $14,697,715.
What?
Yeah. Okay, and let's do 2%. And same 10,000, we're not going to add to it for 40 years. I'm like, is this right? $22,000.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That is crazy different. And that is the power of being educated on rate of return and having someone to empower you by sharing the possibilities with you and what you're invested in, right? Because yeah, you could be in a GIC and locked in and making 3 to 5% on, I think it was like 5% a couple of years ago.
And
But most people get a like 2 to 3% in a GIC.
And that's the thing too, like, there was comfort in a GIC, I get it, right? Because it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
But people got to realize when we put money into the big banks, they're earning it, what is it, 10 times on your money. They can earn 10 different ways on your deposit.
Yeah.
So when they lock you
They're
in,
a great business model.
yeah,
They're a great business model. But when you're doing that, you're not looking out for you, you're looking out for their business model.
yeah. So yeah, they're going to lock you in 3.5 and they're making $14 million. Actually, at the
Yeah,
end of the day,
exactly.
because what they're doing is they're taking your money, they're going out to the professional money managers to invest properly, and they're
Yeah.
earning 10, 15, 20%. So don't you think they're okay to shave off 3.5 to give back to you when they feel when your time is that they can give it to you? Because remember, in a GIC, majority of them is you're locked in. So if you take your money out earlier, you don't get anything.
And I have actually come across it where there's actually fees associated with taking out early. Not in every situation, but in some situations. And so it's actually costing you money to lock your money in.
Yeah. And then
which is scary.
And I think they just posted like all the year-end results for the banks. Like they're making bazillions. Bazillions.
Yeah. So let's do what we do best and let's put some of that money back into the hands of our clients.
Yeah.
Back into the hands of Canadians of low, middle and high income levels. Like it doesn't matter what your income level is. Let's get your money working for you and let's get some of this going back into your pocket because it's there. Money is infinite.
Yeah, and that's
at this point.
And that's the biggest thing is setting up financial strategies that fit you.
Exactly.
When you talk about high income or even like corporations, like there's ways to help protect your money and not pay so much in tax. Unless you like paying taxes.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you. Thank you. But yeah, there's so much out there that's available that we have access to help, make everybody's life a little bit better. It's crazy.
Exactly.
Tell us about your story. You must have one.
Oh, I have several, and I'm actually really, really excited to share them here.
Okay,
So, I have two investment stories. One of them is actually my personal story.
nice.
So, I love to share this. So, I left healthcare 4.5 years ago, ish, give or take. I don't know the exact date. But, anyways, I left healthcare and I took my pension with me because I had been paying into a pension. I didn't get to take it all, but I got to take a good chunk of it. And working with people in our business, I invested that money.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was 4.5 years ago. Now it's been sitting there. It hasn't been added to. Nothing has happened. I put about $16,000 in there and it is now at almost $28,000.
See?
I haven't added anything to it. Nothing, not a freaking penny. And it has been growing at a 15% rate of return on average over
The four
the
and a half
life of the
years.
4.5 years it's been in there.
Yeah.
That's my personal story, guys. Like I'm physically seeing it.
Yeah.
This isn't just magic. This isn't just something we're spitting out our butts. This is real life. It's really happening. And it's super exciting because that money's growing. And I mean, I could go and do the calculations. Charlene could go and do the calculations, but I guarantee you it'll be several $1 million by the time I retire.
Yeah, exactly. It is crazy because pensions, I just want to touch on this before you move on to your next story. So people that have a job and that are fortunate enough to have a pension created for them is amazing because those are becoming harder to find. But now when you leave
Hmm.
that job, do you remember about that pension? And do you realize that you can move that into a better investment? It's
Hmm.
really important.
Not all the times. I
Yeah,
want to be clear.
really
I have
clear.
actually come across a couple of pensions for clients in the past, with specific pension plans that will not allow you to move it.
This is true.
But I would still say 80% that I have personally come across, I have been able to move.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But you
so
can. You can invest it for yourself.
yeah. So just a little side note there. I just wanted to mention that. Um,
Hmm.
that I feel it's great when you have your in control of what's going on with your money.
Yeah. There are even, and please don't hold me to this, but I'm saying there are rare cases actually where the pension plan, while you're still employed with that company, you can move it once per year.
Yeah, I do have a one client specifically that once a year we actually had two that we move like once a year we move. So that makes me think back to Rule 72 is my favorite one. So the one client that I did do that or I do that for, do. Okay, let's calculate this, you guys. This is another good thing. It's called doodling and calculating and just getting your mind working. So his money was earning 0.05%. So let's do that into 72. You're going to be blown away. 1,440 years for his money to double.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Isn't that
Ouch.
crazy?
That's a big bite. That's a big bite.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
people fell off the chair.
So, and see, that's just the power of education and having someone to help you to feel comforted and supported
Yeah.
in these processes and decision makings. Now, I have another client and I'm really, really, really excited about this one. This is again an investment client, and I actually have a couple insurance stories I'd like to share too. So hopefully we don't run out of time. But so this one client moved their RRSP into one of our great companies in August of 2024. So we're like
A year and a
a
half.
year and a half later. Okay. That client has been getting 36.5%, 36.5%
Wow. Let's
on
calculate
average
that.
over that year and a half.
36.5. So almost 2 years, just under 2 years, it'll continue to double.
Yeah, it's almost doubled.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. It's insane. You know how happy that client was when I called him and I was like, "Hey, this is Tanisha. How's it going?" I didn't even want to wait for our annual call because I had to share this with you. And literally, the client was like, "Oh, I have another 2 grand. Pop it in there."
Yeah. Right?
Because like, why not? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy amount of growth. I'm so happy for my clients that have all of this growth. And I have clients in different levels of funds, and they're ranging anywhere from 7% to that 36%.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, we have to do a profile, on our clients, where their risk level is. And I'll guarantee you that 36% is not all in high risk. Just because there's another misconception. You don't need to be in high risk investments to earn a good rate of return.
No,
Just FYI.
no, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You just have to be invested in something smart for yourself,
Yeah.
right? Like something that fits your life.
Yeah.
And it's great. And then I want to touch a little bit before we run out of time on the other side of things that we do.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have many, many, many things we do, but predominantly the two that I have found myself doing the most for people is investments and insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I personally feel like we need to be the change in the industry that we want to see. And I know that that is right across our team and our firm. But for me, it's a very strong mission. And that's because I come across people who I sit down with and they go, "Oh, yeah, I already have insurance." I'm like, "That's amazing. I'm so happy that you have insurance because that means that you're doing the right thing and you're protecting your family. And that means that you understand the value in that. What I would love to do is I would love to share with you what your policy is going to do for you. So let's go over it. And right in front of the client, I will read through their policy and show them the fine print and educate them into what they have.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes my clients have amazing policies
Yeah. 100%.
and I haven't changed them.
No, that's
They're
great.
great.
Yeah.
But recently, I've been coming across several policies, and I mean probably a good 15, that were not explained to the client who has them. They thought they had something different.
Yeah.
And that breaks my heart because here they are, they've been paying into something for several years. They think they have this amazing coverage to support them and protect their family. And it's not what they thought it was because it wasn't explained properly.
Yeah.
It's still good coverage for a different purpose,
Yeah.
right? So, main example, and I'm not going to name names here at
Of
all,
course not.
but insurance company X, insurance company Z, okay? Insurance company X sold a accidental death and dismemberment policy as a whole, like as a life insurance policy. They sold it with critical illness, disability, and hospitalization. Great. So happy that they have that coverage. However, they were told that it was life insurance. That is not fact.
No.
Okay. Because the difference is, and this is what I explained to them, and they're just in shock because they thought they had life
Coverage.
coverage. Yeah. They don't. They have accidental death and dismemberment coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Big difference. Because if you die by accident, great, you're covered. But that means you need to drown, get in a car accident, trip over your left foot and smash your head off of something. Like really, really accidents. But if you pass away from a heart attack or a cancer or just pass away peacefully in your sleep, you're not covered.
Well, and I just want to touch on this real quick before you go on to the rest of your story, because I came across some people a few years ago when I first just started doing this, and her husband had passed, and they had insurance with X, and they had that accidental and death. So they had to prove without a reasonable doubt that he actually died from the accident, or was he dead before the accident, because he actually had a heart attack. Little loophole there. Anyways, continue on.
Yes. So that is exactly my point. If you have life insurance that is medically underwritten at the time of application, it will cover if you die from anything as well as accidents. Anything.
Yep.
Okay. Now, if you have accidental death and dismemberment, it only covers accidents.
Yeah.
So it is not equal. They do not equal.
No.
Now, I'm really glad that this client had disability and critical illness. Thank goodness they had that, right? Because those are really important to have. So now I'm helping that client change to it company Z, okay? Because they are going to get real life insurance that covers all forms of death, as well as they're still going to have disability and they're still going to have critical illness.
Yeah.
They're still going to have that hospitalization benefit and close to the same price. But this client, what it's really it's a good thing that we get to help them change that. But what people need to do is they need to ask more questions when they're sitting down with
Well, and
someone.
that's the sad part is because really at the end of the day, you don't know what questions to ask.
That's true.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Which again, I just talked about this the other day, like, we're in high school. They don't teach us anything about how to read a T4. They don't talk to us about, when we earn money, the income tax, CBP, EI comes off. Like, they don't talk about any of that. Oh,
Hmm.
hey, once a year you have to submit income tax to the government. And, oh,
Yeah.
and hey, let's teach you how to ask questions.
Hmm. Yeah, they don't do that. They don't do that. You're right. And so that's why we're here. And what we do is so different is because we educate our clients on what they have and what they need so that they actually feel empowered. And my second example of insurance is someone was sold a policy and it was a term policy, which is great for a short period of time to cover a need, not a lifelong product, because as you renew it, it gets more and more expensive. Okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with a term. I love term products. We layer them in all the time to cover a need. They're great products. But when it's sold as the only product because it's cheap and inexpensive at the time, and someone can go, "Oh, yeah, but it's only going to cost you $28 a month." And the client then goes, "Oh, really? Well, how come that insurance agent was trying to charge me $128 a month?" Because it's a different product. Different product. Okay? Most likely. Now, this client bought a term 20 for $125 a month because they were a little bit older when they started and they had some health concerns, but it was about to renew
Oh,
and it was going to go up to $1,166 a month.
now explain to our audience why, when it comes, like when that term 20 is done, and we get to renew it with no medical. You can just automatically
Mhm.
renew it. But why does it go up that much?
I don't know, Shar, why does it go up that much?
Well, because we're older.
We're older and we usually have some kind of medical concern now. Maybe we have high blood pressure or high cholesterol, or we've had
But that's not
diabetes show up or
but that's
something,
not
right?
taken into account when you do a renewal because it's
Oh, it's
renewable.
not?
No.
Ah, okay. Sorry. You're right.
Yeah.
It's just because we're older.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But see, now in replacing their policy because they're older and they do have health concerns, now instead of being $125, I have to renew that, or I'm not renewing them. I'm changing their policy. Thankfully, we're still going to save them over $700 a month
Hmm.
and get more coverage plus critical illness. But it's like that person thought they had coverage for life and they didn't because they didn't have the product explained to them.
Well, I guess technically they do have it covered for life because that insurance company will just continue to renew it. Because
That's
I
true.
had a similar client as well. She had a critical illness coverage, and she's like, "Yeah, I've got this term 20 or 30 or whatever." And I'm like, "But you see that every 10 years your premium is increasing, right?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Because it's actually only a term 10, which means they're just continually to renew it every 10 years at a higher cost to you."
Mm,
But now, same
yeah.
thing. We went to do a whole new policy, but now because she's older and she's got a few underlying medical concerns, I couldn't replace it at this time, but I can go back in a year and we can try again. But when I do replace it, it's actually going to come out less per month than what
Then the
she,
renewal.
yeah. So we want to do it within the next 10 years for sure, because that's when it's going to change again on her price
Yeah.
increases.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Yeah.
but that's not how it was explained to me. I'm like, I'm so sorry. So sorry
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's exactly it, is now that client that had that renewal pending doom friggin' over $1,000 a month renewal. Thankfully, we got it down to about $400 a month.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's still going to save a vast amount of money, but it's still really like it's more expensive than it would have been had I helped that same client 10, 15 years ago. And that's why we need to help change the industry by talking to more people. So, you know, personally, for any of our listeners or anything, Charlene and I, what we do is completely complimentary to the client, just so you know, because the companies that we work with that we talk about, they pay us. Okay. So to get a complimentary review, it's no obligation.
Yeah.
I would much rather sit down with someone and have the opportunity to educate on what they already have and how they may tweak it, and never do change anything or do anything with them, but have them have that education, than I would not talk to people. You know what I mean? Like, I would much rather people reach out and be like, "Hey, Tanisha, can you just tell me what this means?" So just because you reach out and ask us a question doesn't mean you have to be a client either. But
Yeah.
there's no harm in getting a complimentary review.
Yeah. And
There's
then,
no harm.
yeah. And then, we can always come back with a plan A, plan B, a couple options, or plan C. High five. High five, guys.
What you're already doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to get at. Thank you for
Yeah. You're
explaining that
welcome.
better.
You're welcome. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Is we get to do that complimentary review, make sure you feel empowered by what we share with you, and then we get to give you an A plan, a B plan, and that C plan.
Yeah.
If you don't like A or B, that's fine. You can do what you're still doing. But at least you
Exactly.
know what you're doing now.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we could talk for hours. Charlene and I are very passionate about what we do, and that's why we love the industry we're in, is because we love to help people. And I personally find that this is the most rewarding career I've ever had.
Yeah. Ditto.
It really is. And I've
Because,
had a lot.
yeah, because like for me, anyways, personally, it's like I've been at the GOBs, and what I felt was missing in my life was purpose. And
Yeah.
what's that when you're helping others? Contribution.
Yeah.
Like aside from like just putting stuff in the computer, right? So doing what we do now, we get to have all of that. And at the end of the day, we're helping our family because we're providing that education to our kids,
Yes, exactly.
nieces,
Yep.
nephews, whatever. It just trickles. It trickles all out.
It does. It does. And when we're doing the right things and we're helping our clients properly, we get paid in turn. So we're helping our families create an income too,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's a really integral part of what we do, is that we're helping other Canadian families, but in the turn we're helping ourselves,
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
you know. And that's so rewarding in itself, right? Is I get to not say no to my kids all the time,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
you know.
I got asked something yesterday by one of my kids, and I was like, "Yep, no problem."
Yeah.
So I can do that.
Yeah. Whether it's time or financial,
Yeah,
because guess what? If my kid has a hockey game or wants me to come watch him ski or snowboard or sit in the lodge and watch him come down that mountain, I get to. I
yeah,
get to. I get that. I don't have to ask permission.
exactly.
And that is in itself is getting that financial, or not that financial freedom, that as well, but the freedom of time,
Yeah.
because let's face it, there is not a lot of it here.
No, because
That is actually a bigger commodity than money.
none of us know how much time we actually do have. Just saying.
Exactly. Yeah, time can be very, very short. And so we don't know how much of that we have. And I feel like that's more precious than money.
Yeah,
And the
100%.
fact that I get to control that and take back some of that,
Yeah,
that means everything to me.
exactly. So yeah, so everybody out there, you know, figure out what it is that you need to do to maybe create some of that in your life, or maybe you're already doing it and maybe you
Hmm.
want to share it with others. And that's the other thing.
Hmm.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah. Sharing is caring. If you go to a freaking pizza restaurant, you love the pizza, you're going to tell people about it.
Yep,
So that goes the same in your financial life. If you're doing something that you really like, share it.
exactly.
Share it
Yep.
because you can help someone. So, and call us
Yeah.
because I want to know what you're doing too. What are you doing?
Yeah,
If you're that
exactly.
happy about it,
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, we have gone
A little bit
quite a
over.
bit over our usual time, but that's okay.
Yep.
We are passionate today, and I want to share everything I can with our listeners and viewers. So thank you so much. And as always, subscribe and follow. It helps us to keep helping you and share with you. And it just boosts our spirits to know that people are actually listening. So that's great.
Awesome. All right, everybody enjoy the week and stay warm, or if you're warm, stay cool. And see y'all later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.